The message arrived without warning. It came through every human channel at the same time: military screens, civilian networks, deep space relays on Earth. People stopped what they were doing. Cities went quiet, air traffic paused, even the ocean seemed still. The signal carried a symbol no human had seen before. A massive circle of stars around a single burning eye. It belonged to the Galactic Council. For centuries, the Council ruled the galaxy. Thousands of species obeyed them. Their law was absolute, their power unquestioned. Humanity was new to the galactic stage. Only 50 years had passed since Earth discovered faster than light travel. Humans explored, traded, and learned fast. Too fast for the comfort of older empires. In the council chambers far away, alien delegates watched Earth with cold interest. They did not see artists, families, or dreamers. They saw a potential threat. Humans adapted quickly. They survived harsh worlds. They rebuilt after wars. They refused to stay weak. That was enough to worry the council. The message activated. A tall alien figure appeared, wrapped in glowing robes. Its voice was translated into every human language. Attention. Species designation: human. By order of the Galactic Council, you are commanded to kneel. The word echoed across Earth. Kneel, the alien continued. You will disarm your fleets. You will submit your governments for review. You will accept permanent oversight. There will be no negotiation. There will be no delay. Earth had 72 hours. In the United Earth Assembly, leaders watched in silence. Some were angry, some were afraid, others simply stared at the screen. Human history had taught them one lesson: when someone demands obedience, peace is already dead. Military commanders exchanged quiet looks. Earth's fleets were strong, but not the strongest, at least, not openly. Scientists whispered among themselves. They knew what humanity had hidden, projects buried deep, ships never shown, across Earth. People reacted in different ways. Some protested in the streets. Others prayed. Many remembered old stories. Stories of invaders, stories of empires that believed themselves eternal. The Council's message ended with one final sentence: failure to comply will result in planetary enforcement. The screen went dark. In the stars above, alien fleets began to move. They believed the outcome was certain: Earth would kneel or Earth would burn. What the Council did not understand was how humans respond to threats. In underground command centers, ancient doors opened. Facilities long forgotten came back to life. Black steel walls reflected dim red lights. Admiral Jonas Hawley stood before a sealed hangar. He was old, scarred, and calm. He had waited his whole life for this moment. "So they finally said it," he muttered. Behind him, massive shapes rested in silence. Ships built not for display, but for survival. These vessels had no bright colors, no banners, only dark armor that drank in the light. They were part of a program never shared with the galaxy, a human answer to extinction. Elsewhere, in deep space, silent beacons activated. Signals older than the Council itself began to pulse, calling something back home. The galaxy saw only one thing: Earth had not replied. No message of surrender, no plea for mercy. The silence made some council members uneasy. But they dismissed the feeling. Humans were young. Young species always resisted before breaking on Earth. Children watched the stars from their windows. Parents held them close, not knowing if those stars would soon rain fire. In the final hours of the deadline, Earth remained quiet. Then, just before the 72nd hour ended, a single transmission left the planet. It did not go to the Council. It did not go to the galaxy. It went into the dark, to places marked only on Forbidden's human maps. Admiral Hawley watched the timer reach 0. He straightened his uniform. They asked us to kneel, he said softly. They never asked who we were. Far from Earth, something massive shifted. Ancient engines awakened, black holes began to move. The galaxy waited for Earth's surrender. What it would receive instead was an answer forged in silence. And the first shadow of the Black Armada, the 72-hour deadline, passed. The Galactic Council waited for Earth's surrender. They expected fear. They expected begging. What they received was silence. No message came from Earth, no apology, no agreement. Across the council chamber, alien leaders exchanged confused looks. This had never happened before. Every species eventually obeyed. The silence felt wrong. Council observers monitored Earth closely. Human cities still stood. Lights were on. Life continued. Earth was not panicking. That worried them more than rebellion far from Earth. The first Council patrol fleet moved into human space. It was large, powerful, and confident. Its commanders believed they were about to make an example. But as they crossed the border, their sensors began to fail. Navigation screens flickered. Long-range scans returned empty results. Space itself felt darker. The patrol commander demanded reports. His officers could find nothing wrong and nothing right. Then the fleet lost contact with the forward scout. No explosion, no distress signal. It simply vanished, back on Earth, deep below the surface. Human command centers were fully awake. Screens showed star maps marked with red lines. Ancient plans were unfolding. Admiral Jonas Hawley stood at the center of the room. Officers moved around him with calm focus. No shouting, no panic. Status, he said quietly. Phase 1 complete, an officer replied. All listening posts are active. All recall signals confirmed across the solar system. Hidden stations powered up. Old shipyards that were supposed to be empty opened their doors. Massive docks revealed shapes the galaxy had never seen. Black ships, silent ships. These vessels did not broadcast identification. They did not announce their presence. They waited. Human engineers moved through the hangars, running final checks, touching cold metal like a promise. These ships were built during humanity's darkest fears, when extinction was a real possibility, when hope alone was not enough. In the council chamber, reports began to arrive. Outposts near human space were going dark. Communication relays stopped responding. No signs of battle, no wreckage, just silence. Some council members demanded action. Others suggested caution. The older species remembered ancient warnings. Warnings about young races from harsh worlds. Races that adapted too well, fought too hard. The council dismissed those fears. They ordered a full invasion force to mobilize. Thousands of ships began to move. Their combined power could erase stars. They believed numbers would solve everything. What they did not know was that human signals were spreading. Not loud, not proud, but precise in deep space. Far beyond normal routes, old human allies received strange messages, short and coded. Stay clear, do not interfere, even further. In places marked forbiddens, massive shapes slowly turned, responding to calls long forgotten. On Earth, civilians finally felt it, a heavy tension in the air, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. News networks tried to calm the public, but they showed no council reply. No alien response. The silence grew. Children looked at the night sky, not knowing which stars were watching them. As the council fleets approached human territory, their commanders reported something impossible. Human space was empty, no patrols, no defenses. It felt like a trap. Then, at the edge of known space, the invasion fleet detected movement. Not fast, not aggressive, just there. A massive shadow drifted into sensor range. Then another, then dozens more. ships without lights, without markings. Black hulls that absorbed starlight. Weapons cold and waiting, the Council fleet halted. Their commanders hesitated, for the first time in centuries. A single human transmission appeared on their screens. No emotion, no threat, just 4 words. You were warned already. The signal vanished. Back in the Council chamber, panic spread. The silence from Earth was no longer weakness, it was preparation. As the first Black Armada ships moved forward, the galaxy finally understood humanity had not ignored the order to kneel. They had answered it, not with words, but with shadows. And the war had begun. The first shots of the war were never seen. No bright flashes, no loud explosions. They happened in silence, in the dark between stars. The Council invasion fleet advanced slowly, their formations tight and disciplined. Thousands of ships moving as one, they had numbers, they had power. They had never been defeated, then the Black Armada moved. Human ships did not rush forward. They drifted like predators, calm, patient, unstoppable. Council sensors screamed warnings. Target locks failed, weapon systems lost connection. Human vessels were there and not there. Admiral Jonas Hale watched from a command deck buried deep inside the lead ship. His face was lit by dim red light. He did not raise his voice. "Begin," he said. Black Armada weapons activated. They were not designed to destroy ships. They were designed to end fleets. Energy ripples passed through space. Council shields collapsed without resistance. Hull after hull went dark. Entire squadrons vanished. Not exploded, not shattered, gone. Council commanders tried to respond. They fired everything they had. Plasma, antimatter, gravity weapons. The attacks passed through empty space. Human ships shifted position without warning. This was not technology the galaxy understood. This was something built from fear and perfected by survival. Human pilots did not cheer. They did not speak. They followed orders with absolute focus. To them, this was not revenge, it was defense as the battle spread. Council fleets began to break formation. Discipline collapsed into panic. A second wave of Black Armada ships emerged. Larger than the first, heavier, darker. These were not warships, they were extinction deterrents. On the Council flagship, alarms howled, systems failed faster than they could be repaired. The commander demanded a retreat. It was too late. A human transmission cut through the chaos. Clear and calm. This ends now, with that. The Black Armada advanced, not faster, just closer. Council ships were disabled in waves. Weapons shut down, engines locked, the humans were not killing. They were removing the ability to fight. Across the galaxy, observers watched in shock. No one had ever fought like this. No one had ever won so completely. Reports flooded the Council chamber. Fleet after fleet was lost, without meaningful resistance. Ancient species remembered old myths, stories of deathworlders. Worlds that forged warriors by nature alone, Earth's harsh gravity, its violent weather, its long history of war. The signs had been there, ignored. Admiral Hollis stood silently as the enemy fleet collapsed. He felt no joy, only resolve. "This is only the beginning," he said. As the last Council ship in the sector went dark, the Black Armada did not chase survivors. They turned as one. Their destination was clear. The galactic capital, a place no enemy fleet had ever reached. Across the stars, a final message spread. Passed from system to system, from world to world. Humanity was not kneeling. Humanity was advancing. And the galaxy prepared to witness the fall of an empire. The galactic capital had never known fear. It was the heart of the empire, protected by layers of fleets and ancient defense systems. Its stars shone through golden towers. Massive stations floated like monuments. The council believed this place was untouchable. Then the Black Armada arrived. They did not appear in a dramatic charge. They emerged quietly at the edge of the system. Dark shapes against bright stars. Alarms rang across the capital. Defense fleets scrambled into position. Thousands of ships formed a wall of steel. Council commanders shouted orders. Confidence returned for a moment. "This is the final line," they said. The Armada moved forward, slow and steady, ignoring warnings. Ancient weapons activated. Energy cannons older than human civilization fired. Enough power to crack planets. The attacks vanished into darkness. Absorbed, redirected, ignored, human ships responded. Not with chaos, but with precision. Defense stations lost power. Shield networks collapsed. Command relays went silent. The capital's greatest strength, its control systems, became its weakness. Inside the council chamber, panic replaced pride. Delegates shouted over each other. Some demanded surrender. Others demanded total destruction of Earth. Admiral Jonas Hale's face appeared on every screen, not as a threat, but as a fact. "You gave us a choice," he said. "Kneel. Or be destroyed." We chose neither. The Armada pushed deeper into the system. Council fleets fell back, then broke. Human ships moved past them, targeting only command vessels. Only control hubs. They were not conquering. They were dismantling. Across the galaxy, live feeds showed the truth. The Council was losing, and everyone could see it. Worlds that had lived under Council rule for centuries watched in silence. Some in fear, some in hope, the Council tried one last act of dominance. They activated the capital's core weapon, a device meant to erase entire systems. Before it could fire, the weapon shut down permanently. Human code had already reached it. The chamber went quiet. The Empire had no final strike, no last threat. The Black Armada surrounded the capital. Weapons powered but silent, Admiral Hale spoke one final time. "We are not here to rule. We are here to end your rule." The Council had no answer. For the first time in galactic history, the rulers of the stars stood powerless. The empire that demanded Earth kneel had fallen to its own arrogance, and the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. The galactic capital was silent. Not destroyed, not burning, just powerless. The Black Armada held position, dark ships surrounding the heart of the old empire. Weapons ready, but unmoving, across the galaxy, every world watched. Expecting conquest, expecting humanity to take the throne. That was how empires worked, inside the lead human ship. Admiral Jonas Hale stood before the final transmission console. He knew this moment would define humanity forever. The signal was sent everywhere, to great worlds and small ones, to rulers and workers alike. His voice was calm, clear, human. "We were ordered to kneel. We were given no voice. We will never accept chains, but we will not forge them for others," the message continued. Slow and deliberate, the Council ruled through fear. "We choose distance. We will not occupy your worlds. We will not control your skies, but hear this warning. If any power rises to replace this empire, if any voice demands submission, you will face us." The transmission ended. The Black Armada powered down its weapons. One by one, human ships turned away from the capital. They did not take territory. They did not demand tribute. They left ruins of authority, not ruins of life. Across former council space, chains broke, old borders vanished. Worlds once silenced began to speak. Not under human command, but under their own, on Earth. People watched the stars again, not in fear, but in quiet pride. The skies remained peaceful. No invasion came. Human fleets returned to the dark, back to hidden zones, back to silence. Admiral Halley removed his uniform that day. His duty complete, history would remember this moment, not as the rise of a new empire, but as the refusal to become one. Among the stars, a new truth spread: humanity was not weak, not cruel. They were dangerous only to those who demanded obedience. And the galaxy learned a final lesson: never order Earth to kneel.